does it feel good to be back? Like, it's been a minute. Actually, I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks now. I'm not exactly sure. So, hey everybody, welcome to the stream. This is going to be a pretty casual, like, hangout session. I've got a very different setup because I'm in Chicago right now. Been actually doing a lot of work down in the Midwest the last few weeks. And so, yeah, it's been a long, long time. And mostly that's been based on schedule. So I had to make sure I could actually hear myself. So much bokeh. Yes, check it out. Like, it makes the whole background disappear. So this is the 24 millimeter 1.4. But yeah, so it's been a ton of fun. And you know, you saw some on not the last video I put out, but the video before that. Some of the stuff I've been working on, I was able to put in that video with the FPV drones that I've been using, which has been a lot of fun. A lot of stuff, obviously, I can't show you because it's been for TV shows and other stuff that are NDAs involved. But yeah, just to say it's been awesome. It's also been really busy. And yeah, so, but hopefully things are kind of, I say leveling out, but like, you know, I'm figuring out how to do this, including the normal videos, while also still doing the other stuff and traveling a lot. So, but good to see you all. So, my camera's here, my chat is over here, which is going to make it interesting because to be able to, you know, see the chat and look at you. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate the super chat. I'm really, I feel bad because I still have the lens that you're interested in Alaska, and I'm sorry. I feel I'm like, at this point you maybe should have just gone and bought another one. If you haven't, I'll be home in a week and a half, and we can make the deal happen then. So anyway, it's good to see you all here. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being patient. I am not used to being in a big city, and my judgment of what traffic is going to be and what traffic's not going to be is terrible. So here I am. Mark H, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you, Andre, and thank you, Mark, for the super chats. I really, really do appreciate it a lot, you guys. It's, yeah, I gotta say, I've missed live streaming a lot. I do miss the interaction with you guys and the sort of hangouts. And so I know I got started super late. I know some of you will probably go jump over and join Original Dobo's stream. And you absolutely should, because it's his normal time slot. I'm just going to hang out here for an hour or so, chat with you all, and then go pass out because, you know, I'm 3 hours different from my time zone. I'm tired and I got an early morning tomorrow. But we're going to hang out for a bit because I do want to tell you about some of the things I've been working on as much as I can. So Cody Mont asked a question earlier about my studio setup. How did I decide to set up having a live stream type setup where you broadcast microphone in front of your face and headphones on? So I use a shotgun mic that's usually just above the camera in the center, like right here. So you could just barely see it, like right out of frame. And that's the DD S-Mic 2S because it's nice. It sounds good indoors. And that's what I do. And then when I'm doing something with somebody else and we're interacting, I'll put one of my ear pods in one ear just so I just don't like the look of big headphones. I don't like the look of stuff like that. So yeah. Bud Beaver, Juliet Prison. So that's a special that's going to be airing on PBS, and the whole special is shot by drone. I think last year they did one it was like in Chicago, and this is like beyond Chicago. So it's everything outside of Chicago basically, and yeah, it's been very cool. So, hey Mark, I am back in the lower 48. I am here. I have no idea about Mavic 3 Pro. I don't know if anybody does really, to be honest with you. And Bretner, Richmond Aerials, James Smith, nice to see you. Any good tips on location Northern Lights in the fall? Northern Lights in the fall, the further you can push it to later in the year, the better. And Fairbanks, North Pole area is fantastic, usually. But it just depends on the lights, too. So, and Bretner, Mark H, T and Rocky Raccoon. Yes. And Eddie Nunez. Dude, I feel like we're so close because, we're obviously way closer than normal, but I don't even know if you're still on this tree, but if you were, I was like, man, if there's a way I could get together with Eddie while I'm down here, that would be so cool. So, but anyway, Super Soul 50. How's it going, man? Hope you're doing well. I gotta remember to look at the camera. Like, I got a light up here now, and the screen's over there, which I really can't see, but the light, you tend to want to look toward the lights. Anyway, Richard Black. Let's see, Kevin, Phantom Flight 101. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Been a long time. I'm not really down in your neck of the woods, but I'm closer to your neck of the woods than I've ever been. Yeah, it's kind of so. Let's see, Fly Zone Drones. I know I saw you in here earlier. I don't know if you're still here, but I will message you. My schedule, like 3 weeks ago, my schedule was pretty steady. I mean, it was insanely busy, but pretty stable. This time, it has been very dynamic, changing a lot. So. Allie, yes, I am so sorry. I've heard you guys have got locked down hardcore, and I'm very sorry to hear that. So, Brian, don't go into the light. I won't. I will not. I also look both ways when I cross the streets here, because I have been hit by a car as a pedestrian, and it was not fun. I don't want to do that again. So, John Burnett, hey. T and Rocky Raccoon, loved your collab with Ken Aaron. That was fun. We happened to be down in Nashville. I actually flew back to Alaska from Nashville last time because we were down there doing some work, and yeah, it was really cool. So on that, yeah. Anyway, the FPV drone, yeah. So this is the FPV drone that I let Ken fly here, with a red Komodo on it, which is what I've been flying a lot lately. In fact, recently for a TV show, yesterday. Well, the day before, I had to make it so that I could fly this drone backward at speed, like 50, 60 miles an hour. And it about broke my brain trying to figure out how to do that, because I can't use this camera. I have to see where I'm going. So I had to strap a little camera on the back, and then we had to figure out a way to like wirelessly transmit the Komodo feed to the director and stuff. And I love challenges like that. It's really fun trying to figure out how to make something like that work. But it just about broke my brain trying to figure out how to make it work. It worked, and everybody was happy, and we got the shots they wanted, and it was kind of cool. But it was a challenge, I'll say that much. And the reason I bring that up is because I reached out to somebody else who builds these, and that's pretty much what he does. He builds them and sells them, Quad Standard Labs, and I was like, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm doing. Like, I would just basically want another brain on it that is familiar with it. And there was another guy here who works with FPV too, and I was like, just like work with me through this. And he goes, oh, it's interesting you asked. I just built 2 of these that are going to be used on. He thinks it's the next Black Panther movie, but basically same thing. They're flying them backward, so it was kind of nice. But yeah, very cool. Sheminar, let's see. Okay, So thanks, T and Rocky Raccoon. I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Nashville, your hometown. Really, John? I didn't know that. I guess I didn't know that. Man. Anyway, wow, look at the bokeh. It is super. That's a little bit too much. We're going to go here, and we're going to go here. There. Is that better? Like when it's that shallow, and you like the back of my ear is out of focus at this range. And, the A7S3 is great at locking onto your eye. That's great. But the fact that the back of my head is out of focus, I just can't. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Better, yeah? Yeah, that's better. Okay. So let's see. How big can you print an A7S3 picture? It depends on how close you're going to stand to it. But like this picture here is a 12 megapixel photo. It was taken with a Mavic Zoom, a Mavic 2 Zoom, and it's me kayaking in the if I get out of the way, you can probably actually see it. So there, you see that picture there? That's me kayaking, taken with a Mavic 2 Zoom, 12 megapixels, and that is I don't know, 30 by 24 or so. So if you're standing a distance away from it, it's great. And even that one, actually, you can stand pretty close. Hey Jared, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Long time no talk. been enjoying the podcast though. So yeah, you can print an A7S III pick out pretty big. At least you can go whatever it is, like 20 something by 17 for sure, and still have a relatively high DPI. But honestly, I think you could go up to 30 something by 20 something and be fine. So yeah, most of the back here is how to say exactly. Hey, crank down that. Now I'm at f2.2, which feels a little more normal. Part of the problem is I'm so much closer to the camera, so that depth of field really gets magnified the closer to the lens you get, and it makes it very interesting. So, but yeah, so that's been my life. I am trying to put a video together, and I think I might be able to do some of it tomorrow, and maybe all of it tomorrow. But like more of a vlog style. And so let me know if you'd be interested in this. It's more of a vlog style, and it basically be like what it's like a day in the life of drone production stuff like that. Would that be interesting to you to see like what one of these days that I've been doing a lot lately is like, traveling from location to location to do these drone shoots and stuff. Tomorrow I'm not shooting anything that would be under NDA, so I think it would be fine. And I think it would be a fun one. There might be some other stuff mixed in there too, but okay. So yep. All right, good. I will do it then. Also, I don't have anything to review down here. And honestly, I maybe a little break from reviewing. So I want to do that. Not a break from reviewing, but just, I don't have anything to review with me here. I do have stuff to review back in Alaska, and then I want to do kind of a detailed video about this and the setup of this and everything and what it's like to fly it, because it's fun and terrifying all at the same time. And then it sounds like in about a week or 9 days, I may be tagging along on a helicopter shoot. Would you be interested in seeing what it's a Hollywood level shot over rig helicopter. Would you be interested in seeing what that is like? Because if you are, then I will shoot a video about it and kind of show you what it's like to be in a helicopter, a really large drone with and so it's the helicopter that if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which you should, it's the helicopter that I did the fly through of. Black helicopter with the three something $3 million helicopter, and the least expensive piece of equipment in that was the helicopter. The helicopter's like $1.2 million, I think is what an A-Star cost, and the camera and the gimbal package were like $1.7 million. It's like, good Lord, go figure that. Okay, cool. I'll put some videos together about that stuff. So also please continue the FPV videos. Cool, Khrushchev. I do plan to. I do want to do one, like I did the one FPV video about like the different types of FPV drones. And so I'd like to actually build out a little series about how to start FPV, what some of the best first drones. I mean, I kind of gave you a hint on that one, but yeah, so I might do that. John, do I? No, actually. So my friend who is the guy who's been bringing me down for a lot of these shoots, this is his office space, and he's kind enough to let me crash at it and kind of take over, honestly, which is nice because it's like I bring my laptop and plug it into this really nice 5K monitor. It's way nicer than my monitor at home. I realize now, I'm like, crap, my monitor is really, it's 8 years old now. It works and it's fine and I like it. It's an ultra wide and I really like it. But after using this 5K monitor down here, I'm like, oh, dang, it's really, really nice. So shoot, anyway. Yeah, so yeah, it is cool, John. Okay, so Agent J, I'm super glad to hear you're enjoying the 17-70. I freaking love that lens. It is such a good lens. I'm so tempted to, actually, if you don't follow Tamron on social media accounts, you should. They just released an article or a magazine today, and they featured me in the magazine, talking about my adventures in Alaska and like how I like to use the 17 to 70, the 11 to 20, and a small body camera for my travels and stuff. So that was really cool. I thought that was, I thought it was cool. So let me see. Nate H, you're moving to Alaska. Dude, that is not that far away from me. Hit me up when you get up here. When are you moving up, Nate H? I'd be curious, because that's I go to Wasilla a lot. In fact, Independence Mine, any of the old mine stuff you've seen is pretty much just right out past Wasilla area. So that's awesome. I hope you like winter. Winter's coming. It's hard. Actually, okay, so I'm not in Alaska right now. Somebody asked that earlier. And I would say winter's coming. And Brian Peterson can attest to this. I don't feel like winter ever really left this year. Like when I was back up for a week last week, I kind of checked out some of the spots I go, and there's still colossal amounts of snow in some of those places. In fact, let's see if I have, oh, you know what? I probably have it here. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this. If I have it in my photos, I can pop it out real fast. So the ice caves that I normally go to, which you all have seen on my channel if you've watched very long. Oh, I don't have it on there. All right. Anyway, the area I normally go to explore ice caves, like now till October, November-ish, they're all still completely buried under snow, like under 30 feet of snow in some cases. I've never seen this much snow still around after summer. And people are saying what we call termination dust, which is where the snow starts coming down the mountains. They're like, oh, it's termination dust. I'm like, yeah, but we had fresh snow on the mountaintops all through July. So I don't feel like winter ever left this year. I feel like we had a brief reprieve from below zero temperatures for the summer, and stuff got green. Another couple of weeks, it might be snowing hard again. I don't know. So, which is okay. I like winter. It's fun to get out and enjoy winter. Brian and I have some ideas on things we want to go and places we want to go and do some stuff. But yeah, I'm going to take some firewood and some jet boils and stay warm and film some of the beautiful things in the snow, like Northern Lights. Because, gosh dang it, I'm going to get Northern Lights this year. I tried last year so hard. Let's see. And I just lost my train of thought. Anyway. So, Mini Ice Age coming. Yeah, John, exactly. Mini Ice Age coming. Agent J. Oh, you read the article? Awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. It was. I just got a kick out of it. I was like, you want to feature me? Like, yeah, sure. I don't really know why, but yes, go for it. So, on that note, I mean, I know we're hanging out and enjoying time, and I know a few people jumped off because another live stream is happening in the drone world. But this normally Wednesday nights is Q&A stream. So if you have questions about cameras, lenses, audio gear, lights, stuff like that, please ask away, and I will do my best to answer it. Or other people in the chat will answer it too. Anthony Mares, have I ever opened a lens to clean out dust or debris? I have, Anthony. I haven't done any of the modern lenses like this, like the, I did one Sony kit lens because it was broken. I bought it. I was told that it was in great shape, but it was not. It was broken. So, and then the seller disappeared. So I took it apart, and now Brian has it. He's going to do stuff with it, but I took it apart for fun, and it's relatively simple, and you need to do it in a really clean environment. But I have also done it with some of my manual lenses. And so, yeah, it works great. Let's see. David Casada, I was featured in Tamron's magazine. Let me see if I can find it here. I think this is it here. Yeah, I'll put the link in here. Don't click on it now and leave the live stream, though. Or open it up in any window if you can. Because, if you leave the live stream, it hurts me in my channel. And it hurts me deeply to the core. Anyway. One of the things I keep thinking about doing is like going out and doing a street photography street photography here at night, because it's fun to shoot a city at night. Yeah. I don't know. I've talked to a few people I know down here that are also photographers, and we're kind of making a plan. I don't know the city that well, and so it's a little intimidating, like running around a place, you know. I'm not worried that I'd like get lost and not be able to find my way back, but just I think every city probably has areas you can be fine in, and then areas you should not go to. And so, you know, I don't want to make a mistake and turn down the wrong alley. When I lived in the Midwest down in central Missouri, I knew, you know, I drive up to St. Louis once in a while, and there were areas of St. Louis that you don't go into. You just don't. And yeah, anyway. So let's see. Brian asks, what the greatest challenge with flying the big drone backward? This guy here, backwards, besides the engineering aspect. So the engineering aspect was a challenge, definitely, because like getting a camera to sit on the back and matching the right angles and stuff like that. But the biggest challenge that kind of broke my brain a little bit was figuring how to remap everything so that my control sticks, you know, the drone would think that that flying this way was forward, not this way, because it bases everything on motor number. You know, this is motor, I don't remember what they are, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and how, you know, it changes its roll axis is by speeding up and slowing down the opposites and yaw and everything. And so getting it to do that correctly, so that when I was flying backward, I wasn't having to rethink my controls. It was just like controlling a normal drone. That's what really broke my brain for a bit. Yeah. So now that I've done it once, it's easy-ish to do. But yeah, Mark H, don't do Southside. Thanks for the heads up, Mark. I appreciate that. Speaking of which, man, we are overdue for a phone call. So I got to figure out when we can set something up. James Smith Films, Columbia. No way. I lived in Camdenton. For 6 years, just off the square there. It was, yeah. So Lake of the Ozarks area, good times. That's actually where I got hit by a car as a pedestrian. So sort of good times, but I also met the love of my life there. So, you know, not terrible. Would it be? Yeah, Anthony, this is. So this, I'm going to be making a whole video about it, but this is 8 motors, 8 propellers, 8 inches, and it will carry 3-ish pounds comfortably and still, you know, move at high speed and stuff. And so usually what I put on this is a red Komodo, and then rip it through spaces. For that one was interesting because it was the red Komodo, but then we also had to transmit wireless video from the red Komodo back to the director. And so figuring out how to integrate the wireless video transmission system so that it didn't interfere with my video transmission system and I didn't interfere with it was really challenging, because not only then are you going from the red Komodo via SDI into a converter to convert to HDMI so you can send it to the wireless video transmitter, because the only video transmitter we had available was an HDMI version, which is a whole mess of cables, but then also these antennas that had to be set out at 90 degrees from each other like this, so they're perpendicular to each other, and then perpendicular to the ground to get the best signal quality. With all that cabling and then powering everything was really, really challenging. It was interesting. Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to walk through Hawatonka a lot. I used to sit in the water by where it comes out from the cave a lot to cool down, because it's the only cool water in summertime down there. Hope I wrote down the remapping. Yeah, so I have a plan, you know, on how to do it fairly easily. And I think what I'm actually going to do is end up building a wire harness so that literally all I have to do is put the rear air unit and camera on, swap power from the front air unit to the rear air unit, and then it's ready to go, just like that. So thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that, man. Those were all shot pretty much during my work with the 11 to 20, and I'm actually one of my projects that I've been working on is editing together like a 60-second video, like a short film sort of thing. I'll put it on the channel, just kind of like talking about going out and exploring Alaska with that lens, especially, but with that and the 17 to 70, they pair really well together. John Burnett, you're going to Rome, Italy in October. Recommendation for doing video and photography with the same camera rate. A7S3. John, if you own an A9, that's a great camera, man. I've used the A9 II for some of the aerial stuff I did with the 150 to 600, and it's really a fantastic camera. So what I do on most of my cameras, if I'm doing both, is I will have the manual photo mode set for whatever I want, like my kind of default for photography stuff. And then any memory channels I have, I will set one for like this kind of stuff, talking head, which is like 4K 24, 4K 30, depending on what you want to shoot. And then I will set one memory mode for slow motion, high speed, 4K 60, 4K 120 in the case of the A7S III, or 1080 120, depending on what options the A9 has for it. And that way you can quickly switch between, because you can switch to photo mode, which retains all of its settings. So you can do your 4K or 1080, whatever you want to shoot in, do that. And then you can switch to your memory 1 or memory 2 spot and then use that. And that's how I do it, all with one camera. So with the A9, you might want to look at, if you're going to film yourself, you might want to look, hey, Aldrin, how are you doing? Oh, Aldrin. Sit tight. Everybody sit tight. I'm not putting you on the spot, Aldrin, but I'm putting a bug in your ear. This thing needs a case. And it's not just me that thinks so. My buddy down in Chicago has one, and he thinks so too. So I don't know. I was like, I don't know. It might fit in the Air 2 case, but then I don't think it will. But yeah, if you've thought about doing a slightly larger size case, if you can make it so that it can fit this, I know me and perfect. Anyway, I only say that because any of you watching, if you don't know, Aldrin makes some of the most fantastic cases for the Air 2, Air 2S, and the remote, or the Mini 2. And this is the thing, they're not just good cases for those things. Like, even when I'm not taking those drones with me, or I'm not using those drones in that way where I'm putting them in each case, I almost always have one of Aldrin's cases with me, flight path cases with me, because like throwing all the GoPro stuff in there, the GoPro extra batteries, ND filters, whatever, they fit really great and it keeps it all compact. This trip here, it's too hard to get, but I have the smallest case that FlightPath makes, and I have a Beta FPV Meteor 65, like 30 batteries, and my analog receiver for my DJI goggles. So I can fly my tiny whoop, but it all fits in that one, the smallest case that FlightPath makes. So if you're looking for cases or bags for anything, you got to go to flightpath.com and get them. They're just some of the best made cases and bags I've ever used. So anyway, Aldrin, and he sent me two. I did put them in a video about different kinds of cases for drones, but I think I have to revisit that video. I have to revisit it. I got to make a video about, like, my 2021 camera bag, what I have in it, because I always have one of those two cases with me, because they're just fantastic. And it's obvious, Aldrin, FlightPath, for those of you who don't know who he is, it's obvious that you spent a ton of time working through the materials, the construction, because it really shows. So thank you. They're fantastic. And I do tell people that, like, if they're going to get a case for stuff, that's the one to get. So, yeah. Anthony Bears, do I ever work on or with gimbals? You just Weeble S? Yeah, I've had the Weeble S. Fantastic gimbal. I have the Weeble 2 and the RSC2 now. I have both of those and a Crane 2S. Is that what it is? Crane 2S? Yeah. So I do use gimbals. I don't use it for YouTube so much. But I do use it a lot for client work. Like pretty much anything I shoot for clients is going to use a gimbal. In fact, I edited something today that I was kind of wishing I had a gimbal. I couldn't have had it with me because it was a helicopter out to a glacier, but I was wishing I did because I had to stabilize a lot of my shots. Let's see. Mark H, still flying the Air 2S. Yes, Mark. And this is the thing, the Air 2S. I'm so glad you asked. It's over there in my backpack. On these TV shows, some of these TV shows that I've been here shooting over the last few weeks, most of what we've shot has been with an Inspire in ProRes, 5.4K, whatever the highest stuff an Inspire will do with the ProRes license. The amount of times that we've used an Air 2S for other shots, or to use it in places where it just is not a good idea to fly the Inspire, or the Inspire would attract too much attention, and how happy the people that we've been, the producers, the directors and stuff that we've been giving that footage to have been with the Air 2S footage is phenomenal. So anybody that tells you can't create good stuff with an Air 2S is wrong, because it does have phenomenal image quality, especially for a drone that size. It intercuts with an Inspire really nice. Mark is exactly right. It's super stealthy, and I'm really thankful for that on a few times. And I like the stability. Like, I've flown that thing through trees, like around, just in tight spaces, and I'll do risky stuff with the Inspire too when I need to, and it's safe. But yeah, the Air 2S is a really incredible drone. And I think the biggest pet peeve people have when I did the Air 2 review is, like, the one reason I'm not keeping the Air 2 is it didn't have 10-bit color, is because of stuff like this. Everything I've shot with the Air 2S in 10-bit is the stuff I've handed off for these TV shows, and they've been happy with it. So it's a great drone. I love the Air 2S. It is, actually, I loaned my Mavic 2 Pro out to a buddy of mine in Alaska while he's getting his repaired, and I mean, honestly, I haven't taken my Mavic 2 out really since I got the Air 2S, just because the Air 2S is smaller, it's more stable, much better gimbal as far as being able to keep up with the speed of the Air 2S and stuff. It's a great drone. So, yeah. Flight path. I'm laughing. In fact, flight path. I think it's hilarious that I was like, "Hey, do a case for this," like. And you're like, oh, no, it's been talked about. I'm sure it has. That's the problem. When you put out a really good product, then people are like, hey, could you make one for this? So if you do, though, Aldrin, if you make a case for the smart controller, I will buy 2. Let me buy 2. Please let me buy 2. So, yeah. Anthony Mayers. When running the gimbal, what's my go-to lens? Is wider better? Generally, this is my go-to lens on a gimbal. This is the Tamron 17-28. I like it because it's internal zooming, so it doesn't change the balance of the gimbal when you zoom in or out, because it's all based in the same kind of footprint. And I usually it's pretty wide. I go pretty wide. I might run the 24 sometimes. The other lens I do, which is over my backpack, is the 28-75, and I will balance that halfway so that I can zoom in or out with it. But yeah, usually I just stick with the wide stuff, unless I really want to get that really tight parallax, which is pretty difficult to do, and it takes a lot of practice. But then I'll use the 28-75 and zoom in a bit, like 50 or something. Huntington Beach. Yeah, if I ever make it down to the Huntington Beach area, I'll be hitting Aldrin up to see if we can get together and meet. And this is the first time I've really started traveling, in quite a few years. So it's kind of cool to actually meet up with some people. Time is it? 8:25? Wow, the time is flying. How long have we been going now? What time did we start? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good to be here and hang out with you all again, because it's been a very, very long time. So, yeah, Mark, are you still flying the Air 2S? Did you go back to the Mavic 2 after this? I mean, the Air 2S is such a capable drone. Oh, I can show you this, because this is not under NDA. Let me do this. So I'm going to show you a video. Is that cool? Everybody cool with me showing you a little video? This is something I shot a month ago now, maybe. And I just finally got it edited today. And I think it's kind of cool. So there's that. Do this. And then, so everybody cool with me showing a little video clip? This was shot with the A7III and the Air 2S. That was all I used to shoot this whole thing. There you go. So that was two friends of mine. They both turned 50 this year, and so they've had a bucket list of things they wanted to do, and that was one of them. And they asked me, "Hey, if we go do this, would you want to come and film it?" And I was like, "Free helicopter ride to go sit on a glacier for the afternoon and film people paddleboarding? Yes." Yes, I do. Like, abso-freaking-lutely. So we went to do that. Air 2S is a beast. Yeah, it really is. It's such a fantastic drone. And I am excited to see what the Mavic 3 Pro or the 3 Pro or Pro 3, whatever they're going to call it, brings, because I think it will be, I mean, if they do it right, it'll be darn near replacing an Inspire. The only thing it, couldn't do, well, I say this, they might redesign it, I don't know. Yeah, is like the dual op, camera op and pilot. But yeah, so be fun. David Cusado, that's one expensive way to go supping. It is. But if you're gonna do something, and the older you get, I know because I'm getting more and more gray hair, the more you start realizing that it's experiences is really something you value. And so they both turned 50 this year, and they're kind of like going through not a bucket list, but like they're like things they've always wanted to do. And so yeah, Justin, am I in my 50s or 60s? Dude, I'm in my 40s. Low 40s, man. Low 40s. Please, yeah. Just, ouch, that kind of hurts. That hurts a little bit, man. I'm at the point now where people don't card me anymore, at least. When I go in to buy something, generally, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're over 18. Oh, so thanks, M. Bretner. Travis Verga, thanks for helping you pull the trigger on the 70 to 180. Awesome, Travis. Yeah, I love that lens. It's a great lens. I really like. If I'd had the room, I didn't. I was going to bring it with me because I really love the wide angle, the 17 to 28, and then the 70 to 180. Like those are kind of my two go-to lenses for stuff. It's really nice. Oh, Justin, you have to take that down. I'm just teasing you, man. Don't worry about it. You're there at 42. Travel as much as possible. Just got back from Iceland and joining the volcano. Oh, dang, James. I'm jealous. I wanted to go do that so bad. I've heard now that it's quite a ways away. Actually, it's a long way to get to it with a drone. But yeah, really, really wanted to do that. Pretty good for a 60-year-old. Hey, that's right. No joke. My dad is 70, and I like. If you watched the 150 to 600 review, which frankly you should, because it's one of my favorite videos just because of the way it was shot. I really like that video, at least the first half. Like I love the first half of that video, but you should watch it because you see my dad in there. He actually got featured in a few things. He's 70. He still hikes like a beast. I mean, I can keep up with him. I can keep pace with him. But if I wasn't in the shape I am, there's no way. He's a beast. He still goes strong. So pretty good for a 60-year-old. Thanks, DN Rocky Raccoon. I appreciate that a lot. Mark H, have I seen Jupiter in the sky this last week? No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to go. And the problem is I'm in the city lights. I think, well, so later this week I'll be in, or not this week, early next week I will be in Alabama, in the Birmingham area, shooting a show for A&E. And so maybe I'll get the chance to like get far enough away from the city lights to see some stars and stuff. One of the things I've wanted to do for a long time is go down to like go down to like Utah or Arizona or Nevada and shoot the Milky Way, the galactic center of the Milky Way. You can't see it in Alaska because the only time the center of the Milky Way is visible is in the summer when we don't have any darkness. So, yeah. James, for real, it was ankle breaking. About 3.5 walk one way to the active lava field. 3.5? That's nothing. I'm kidding. That's a ways. And then everybody's like, oh, that sounds cool. And I'm like, yeah. And then you put 50 or 60 pounds of camera gear on your backpack, and it becomes more work really fast. Yeah, it does sound like a Beatles number, Mark. It definitely does. We'll go for a little longer, and then I am going to call it a day because I got an early call time tomorrow for the show. But yeah. So anybody wants to know, I'm 42 and trying to stay young as long as I can. Although because I solder or solder, depending on where you're from on this planet, if you solder or solder, I now have to use reading glasses. Last year was the first year I was like, I can't focus on these small things anymore. I have to get some reading glasses. And I would get my eyes checked because like I wear contacts normally, and that was the first question he asked me. He's like, so have you noticed you need reading glasses yet? I was like, yes I have, but it's okay. There's worse things. So Idaho is beautiful. Idaho is beautiful, Anthony. I've been there. I used to live when I was younger, quite a bit younger, in my late teens, in my teens. I lived in Eastern Washington, and we would go camping up in Upper Priest Lake once a year, and that was always really beautiful. Idaho is very beautiful. Go easy on myself, and Renner. Not happening, man. No, I push myself, but I do. I'm careful. I know a lot of people see me do this stuff and they think that I'm nuts, and I look at it this way: everything you do in life has a level of risk attached to it. Whether you realize it or not, driving down the street or walking down the street has a level of risk attached to it, especially with so many people texting and driving now. I am willing to take risks. I'm willing to take maybe more risks than a lot of people think, but I really feel like a lot of the risks I take are just, people perceive it as being higher risk. Now, if you didn't know what you were doing, if you've not done any climbing, mountaineering stuff in the past, then yes, it's incredibly high risk. I've done a lot, so to me, it's not that high a risk. I mean, but everything in life involves risk, and so it's always about weighing if that risk is worth it or not. And if you have the skill set and the ability that if something does go wrong, you can make the best of it. So yeah, I always have wildlife protection with me, and I always have first aid stuff and a Garmin and ways to reach the outside world, and then people. I always let a few people know, at least one person who's not going somewhere, they know where I am, kind of where I'm going, and what time I should be coming back or what time to call. Brian Peterson's one of those people that I'll let him know, hey, I'm going here for the day. I should be back about 6. And, so if you don't hear from me by 6, then start thinking about it. If you don't hear from me like by 7 or 8, then yeah, time to do something. So David Quesada, it is David Quesada. So I, as a pedestrian, was hit crossing a street. That is the worst accident I've ever been in my life. I've had other accidents. Like I tore up my back pretty bad kneeboarding one time because of reasons. But yeah, I got hit by a Ford Explorer going about 50 miles an hour when I was walking across the street one time. Never had anything bad happen to me when I've been climbing mountains. There's been things that have happened, but nothing like that. So I have that other than being born, that is the only time I have ever been in the hospital for anything. And yeah, spent a few days in intensive care and then a long, long time recovering from that. But probably 2 years maybe of really working on making sure I didn't compensate, because my knees obviously took a lot of impact so working to make sure I walked and I didn't favor one knee or the other, because then you end up causing yourself more problems down the road. And so yeah, you cannot nerf the world. There is always risk associated with everything. Sometimes it's perception, what you perceive as risk and what you perceive as not risk. And then, sometimes it is real risk. Going in an ice cave is a real risk. It's not a perfectly safe place. Climbing a cliff on a mountainside, it's a risk. Like kayaking across a section of ocean, there's a risk to it. But I've trained. I know my safety well. I know my skill set well and what my limits are, and so I can judge whether or not I should take that risk. If it's really giant waves, I'm not going to take the risk. If I see, go into an ice cave and look up and see sections of the roof with lots of cracks through it, not worth the risk. But those are things like my skill set. I know that I can judge those things because I have experience in them going, yeah, that's safe, that's not safe. Like when I walked across the glacier last year and was it the GoPro 9 ND filter video review? That was a risk. But I looked at the glacier on satellite imagery and I've had lots of experience mountaineering, and I was like, I can do that safely and carefully. Also knowing that as I got on the glacier and I started to traverse across the glacier up to the backside of it, knowing that I had set in my mind, if this happens or I see this and this, then I'm stopping and I'm just going back. That's as far as I'll go. But, none of those things happen. So I wasn't going to jump across any crevasses or anything like that. Marcel Axis FPV, what's it like to be 7 feet tall compared to Aaron? He's actually not not that short, but it was really cool to meet him in person. I hope he felt the same way. And yeah, it was fun to meet in person. And it was kind of a last minute deal because my schedule got shuffled last time, and I was like, hey, we're going to be in Nashville the last few days. I wasn't able to stay for the actual helicopter work, but I was there to help, like, you know, get some stuff down there and help kind of start getting stuff ready a little bit, and then do that little fly through. And yeah, so it was like, Ken, how far are you from Nashville? And he was like, a couple hours. Would you want to meet up? So we met up, and it was awesome. Oh, sweet, Marcel. Dude, I would love to. So I've driven through BC quite a few times because obviously I live in Alaska. It's a little harder right now, but I would love to. Vancouver, I haven't been to Vancouver, but I've been to like Bouchard Gardens because my grandparents had a place in the U.S. side of the San Juan Islands there, and so then we would also watch the fireworks a lot coming out of that area. So I'd never been to Vancouver, but I've been in the area, and I would love to come back. And if I do, I'll hit you up. So yeah, I don't think Fly Zone's in here anymore, but I am gonna try if I can, if my schedule can kind of lock in. I do want to try and do a meetup here in Chicago before I head back up to Alaska. Although it looks like I will be back again next month and maybe the month after that for at least a week. So yeah, we'll see. You know, if everything holds. Depending on what happens with our world and the craziness that has ensued because of a thing that we all know what I'm talking about. We don't even need to say it. So, and yeah, let's see. And Bretner, excellent. And actually good, you're aware of things that are going wrong, totally out of your control, like cars. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think might call it a night. It's been about an hour, I feel like. Is it? Has it been about an hour? Oh, I can't tell. Dang. All right. Bouchard Gardens, you spent most of the day in during your August 1999 one and only overseas experience. Really, Ann Brenner? That's awesome. Man, Bouchard Gardens is beautiful. An incredible place. Really, really something else. So, you too, Marcel, and thank you. If I ever make it down to Vancouver, BC, I will let you know because I would love to meet up. It'd be really fun. So, on that note, folks, I am going to call it a night. I got an early call tomorrow to go be on to the location, first location for the show, and I will be Soaring Badger and I will be working together tomorrow, hopefully chasing a golf ball with an FPV drone for TV. We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, so he's probably going to tell me to go to bed and get some sleep here pretty soon because we're going to be hitting it a little early tomorrow. But good to see you all. Thank you for your patience the last few weeks. It's been busy. It's been great, but it has been busy. But I was really glad that we could make the stream happen tonight. And next week, we'll see. Be in a different spot next week this time. So, but yeah, if not, I'll be putting together some videos in between now and then anyway. So have a great night, everyone. Be safe, be smart, and we'll see you again soon in the next video, which will be sometime. Cheers.